Hey there you guys, my name is Anthony Mendez, and I recently became aware of a stock that has a ton of potential as we move into the space age. That's right, this is not only an opportunity to invest in a company with a ton of potential, but also to invest in the future, in innovation, and something exciting. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Momentus, which I believe is an excellent opportunity for investing right now as it's very early in the process. However, there's not all beautiful flowers and everything. There is some pitfalls and some serious things to consider. So in this video, we're going to explore what Momentus is, what they do, their potential, what they plan for the future, and some of the problems they have right now and the pitfalls that could make them fail in the space age. Okay, so let's talk about what Momentus is. What do they do? Well, Momentus is a space infrastructure company. So when you want to put a satellite into space, you need to put it on a ship, like a SpaceX rocket ship, and they'll take it up. But then once they're up there, they're just going to drop it wherever and be like, there's your satellite. Oh, well, it went that way. So this satellite, once they throw it out into space, it's not positioned where it needs to go. Well, here is where Momentus comes in. And they actually have some sort of strategic partnership with SpaceX, but that there's not enough information out there yet. At least I couldn't find any. But anyway, they go and they drop this satellite out there, and here comes Momentus. Momentus comes and grabs that satellite and goes flying into where it needs to go, and it shoots it down the orbit it needs to go. So it positions it on the orbit it needs to be. And this is very important. Previously, this has been a very costly and expensive thing to do, but when Momentus is now coming in and offering this service, it could be a lot cheaper and a lot more affordable and accessible to more people when moving along. So this industry could grow a lot. It's due to Momentus leading the way. However, Momentus is not yet a company you can invest in. Momentus will be merging with SRAC. This is a SPAC that, well, it's just a SPAC. So soon we may have the opportunity to invest in Momentus. Currently, you could already invest in the SPAC, but it's not clear yet that it is totally a done deal. Momentus is still in the process of merging, but very likely it will happen. It just requires some approval and then it will happen, but we'll talk about this a little more later on in this video. Okay, so we get the general idea. Momentus will either send a ship with the satellites and then position them, or have a ship already in space to catch the satellite and put it in the orbit it needs to go. But let's understand a little bit more on how this works and the future of the company and what they intend to do. Okay, so previously it's been a very expensive process to take something out into space and put it into orbit. Whether it be a satellite or just a brick or something, whatever you want to take, Momentus will take it and put it into orbit for much more affordably than it has ever been. Not only that, but they'll provide power, communications, and reorientations for the extent of the mission. But the really interesting part, and this is why they've been dubbed the rideshare of space, is because they are more affordable, because they've developed more efficient technology supposedly, but also because they take multiple payloads at a time. They'll take satellites for multiple companies or payloads for multiple companies at a time and drop them off where they need to go one by one. This means that you don't have to send a rocket or a ship with every single payload to put it in its position, but just this one Momentus ship that positions one, goes and positions another one, goes and positions another one, and so on. So in order to fulfill this, supposedly Momentus has made crafts that are more efficient, faster, lower cost, sustainable, safe, and versatile. And with my limited knowledge of spacecrafts, I have no reason to doubt this. So far, it seems pretty great, and I believe it has a lot of potential. However, Momentus has only fully tested and developed their Vigoride craft. I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it. Vigoride? I don't know. It sounds a little weird, but I don't know. Vigoride. I don't know. Now, it's great that they've developed this already, but they have the vision for much better crafts in the future. Currently, this ship will take the payloads, and then once it's done with its mission, it will go to die. It can't come back to Earth or land on any station or anything like that. Once it's done, just floats around and dies. And that makes it much more expensive. If you were able to reuse these rockets, you would be able to charge significantly less. This is where Feveride comes in. Feveride? I'm terrible with these names. I'm sorry. Momentus is developing a craft that is reusable and can take multiple satellites, come back to its station, and await its next mission. Reusable completely, and this is really, really great. This can make it significantly more efficient and inexpensive than it already is becoming by Momentus. However, they're quite a ways from this, I believe, but essentially the concept is that they'll shoot up a station. They'll have this station out orbiting space, and on this station will be a craft. From this craft, it will launch and then pick up satellites, take them to their orbit, position them on their orbit, come back to its station, refuel, do what it has to do. Once the station is depleted, its fuel, whatever it might be, another payload of fuel comes up, satellite goes, gets the fuel, installs it, redocks, and then waits for its next mission. This is awesome. This is an excellent concept, and I really want to be a part of this. This is the future. Okay, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. There are some serious things we have to consider, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so now let's consider how the future of Momentus looks as far as other things they can do with this same technology. With this same technology they're inventing and working on, developing, they expect that by 2025, Momentus will be able to offer full-scale manufacturing in space. This means that maybe a rocket will take up a bunch of materials and just drop off a bunch of stuff, a bunch of little stations or whatever, and Momentus ships will go and grab these stations and actually put them together and build a little station, something bigger than what you can take otherwise. So Momentus essentially could take this same technology, go pick up these pieces and put them together and manufacture things in space. This is also very exciting. Another thing is that by 2030, they want to build massive data processing units in space that will acquire a lot of electricity from the sun. And essentially, they could be beaming down electricity from space down to Earth, essentially making free electricity. Well, not completely free, it still takes a lot of development and work to get this done, but essentially it would be, renewable. There would still be emissions from the utilization of this, but I don't know. Getting more energy from space is a pretty great thing for Earth, where we can be using ever more electricity without destroying this planet. And Momentus' last vision is that by 2035, they can begin to mine asteroids. Now, this is also very exciting. Everything that Momentus is doing is pretty exciting to me, but essentially, by 2035, they want to be able to take these same crafts, land them on these asteroids that have a lot of minerals or even water, and guide them to where we might need them, or even mine them onto the ship itself and bring it back to the station. Now, potentially these Momentus crafts can guide asteroids into a controlled crash landing onto the moon or Earth, so that we can collect more ore and material than we have on Earth available to us. Now, this can really change a lot of things. It can make gold not as valuable, as we may find an abundance of it in space. We'll be able to find fresh water amongst many other ores, and the potential is limitless. Okay, we've been talking a lot about really great things about Momentus and the reasons that I love the company and I want to invest in it. However, there is some serious concerns that I have that could mean the failure of this company. So let's talk about that. First of all, it's a very young industry. The future of it is very uncertain, and we don't know what's going to happen. So potentially, this can completely fail and nothing comes of it. However, I'm not worried about this too much. I do believe that we will prevail as a species and make ourselves interplanetary pretty soon. So for the industry of space travel and space exploration to completely go away, I don't believe that will happen, even though we are very early. The next concern is that the CEO, Mikhail, is a Russian. And this is a big problem, because there's something here in the US called ITAR, Internal Trafficking in Arms Regulation. This means that the CEO of Momentus, Michael, cannot possess any information or any data on some of these aspects of the rockets because of security reasons. So before Mikhail can actually go into the areas where they're building them and really look at things and how they're going, he has to become a US citizen. And this is currently in process. However, he is suspected of already possessing some of this knowledge, which would be a crime, which could potentially be a problem for him becoming a citizen. However, I'm hopeful for this to be resolved and for him to stay in the company, as without him, the vision for Momentus may change as we go along. There's not a ton of information out there, but I'd say it's not super clear whether it's going to work itself out. I don't know. I'd say right now it's a 50-50 just because there's not enough information to base anything on, but I'm very hopeful for it to be resolved. Anyway, the next thing is that the company is pushing their dates. They were supposed to make their first launch with payload back in December 2020, but it didn't go. They're supposed to be doing it early 2021. However, it seems that again, they've been pushing it further and further down the line. Now, this is concerning, but nothing out of the ordinary for a new and innovative company like Momentus that is doing things that are so new. However, Momentus still is hopeful that they'll hit their income targets for the year 2021. The fact that they're pushing dates isn't that concerning to me just because they're such a new company that's doing things that are so different. And finally, the last major concern is that the merger is not complete yet. It's not a done deal that the merger will be happening. They're still in the midst of approval from shareholders and the government. There still needs to be approval from regulators. However, it doesn't seem that this is going to be a big issue. However, it is something to consider. And that's pretty much it, the main things to know about Momentus. Now, I just want to disclaim that this is not investing advice. You should never make investing decisions on anything that I say. And that's just my opinion. With that being said, I will not be investing in Momentus quite yet, just because of all the uncertainty with the CEO and the approval of the merger and other things like that. However, I am very excited for the future of Momentus, and I will definitely be getting into it as soon as these issues are solved or as soon as I feel that it's a right time to get in. So for now, I'm going to be holding off, but I'll keep my eye on it. But when I'm ready to invest in it, which likely I will be, I'll be making a video on that. So make sure to subscribe and look out for that video. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions on stocks that I should look at and analyze, make sure to leave them down in the description below. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Wait, I'm sorry. Did you hit the like button? I didn't check. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm not asking you, okay? Hit the like button. Thanks.